Okay. All
And
right.
also, can I mention,
Go ahead.
John?
Go ahead.
We also managed to get, I followed through with your advice, and we've got a lot more IP addresses,
Did that solve some of the issues?
a lot. But I would like, yeah, a bit more than just the IP addresses, yeah.
Sure, sure, not a
Oh no,
problem.
actually, we didn't get more IP addresses because they said that that would take longer. They may be doing that for us, but I have to double check. What they did was
The
make
lease?
the release time or whatever much shorter to a
Fantastic.
day,
Perfect,
as you
perfect.
suggest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. I'm so glad that's happening. I'm so glad that's happening. All right, so we might as well get started, guys. So good afternoon, everyone. So today we're going to have Katie Frew from Flinders Public School down south from Sydney, and she's going to share with us how things are going with her school. So how you going, Katie?
Good, thanks. How are you, John?
Doing well, thank you. It's just it's been a while since I spoke to you, about 15 minutes, isn't it?
Roughly.
So I'm just treating this just like my very own talk show, radio show, you know. So
Yeah, perfect.
now, just to get started again, again, sorry for sounding like a broken record, but Katie, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background as a teacher, and how are things going at your school?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Katie. I've been teaching for about 4 years now, and I'm currently teaching on a Year 2-3 class at Flinders Public School. We're located about 2 hours from Sydney down the coast. We have 60 EXOs in our school, which we just got this year, so they're pretty new to us still. And we share those 60 devices amongst 4 Year 2 classes, including my Year 2-3 class. Mostly the students share them between two, so we've allocated sort of one device between two students. They always use the same one, and they each have their Google account linked to that device as well. So it's been a great learning experience, and yeah, we're really getting into it.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, you said that they're actually sharing a device. Hang on a sec. I've just got Kay emailing me saying, I don't know how to get to the to the webinar. Hang on, I'm just gonna quickly post her that. So she should be joining us in a second.
No problems.
Okay. Now, Eleanor's from one of the schools in New South Wales. She's asking, how did you manage to get two accounts linked on the XR? Would you like the presenter view and you can show us how that works, Katie?
Yeah, definitely, I can show you that.
All right. So, folks, bear with me for a moment. I'm just going to put Katie as presenter so she can share her screen with you.
Okay, is it up?
Could you guys see that? Okay.
Yep, yep.
Awesome.
Okay, so to add a Google account, you drag down so you can see up the top here where the little Wi-Fi symbol on the clock is. You pull down there with your finger, and the settings comes up. Can you see that my mouse is moving there, or can you not see my
Yep.
mouse as well?
Yeah, yeah.
You can see your mouse.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Just I'm circling things and hoping you can see that I'm circling them.
We can. Yeah.
So you go into settings there.
Hang on. Sorry, Katie, can I interrupt for a moment?
Yep.
Okay, on your toolbar for GoToWebinar, there's actually a tiny highlighter pen at the very, very bottom. Could you see that? There's like an orange on,
Whereabouts?
you know where the toolbar is for your GoToWebinar?
Yep.
Yep, there's like an orange arrow, a microphone, a camera, something, 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 and there's like a
Yeah.
little pen, like a pen nib or something
I'm
like
not
that.
seeing a pen there. I've got an arrow there.
And what's below the arrow?
Um, There's like two little screens to make people presenters.
Oh,
No, I'm not seeing any pen now, sorry.
no. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna shut up now. I'm sorry.
Is it still, it's going to work like this though?
It's still gonna work. You're fine.
Okay, cool. So once you're in the settings there, you scroll down and you can see where it says accounts. Down here it says accounts and obviously it says Google there. So you can see that I've added my account there, and you can add another account just by pressing add account and selecting Google there. So I believe, John, you can add as many as you like here. They're existing accounts because we're in New South Wales and we luckily have Google accounts through the department. Now, for the department, sorry, you have to go to these 3 little buttons up in the top right-hand corner there, and you actually have to click on browser sign-in. That allows us to bypass a few things, I think, there, and you click OK there.
That's right.
And then you follow the steps through here. You have to enter in the actual email address. So when I set this with my kids, I set up all my kids' Google accounts. Sorry, my dog is trying to eat my XO here. I set up all the kids' Google accounts, the email there, and then when you press next, it takes you to the DET browser sign in there, and you enter their username and password there.
Cool.
Okay, does that make sense?
And Eleanor saying it's that simple.
Yes, it's a little bit time consuming, but yeah, it's easy once you've got the hang of it.
Cool.
One day I will wake up and pay attention to things. I knew that I could put in one account, but I couldn't work out how to get the second account. And I've got the same as you do, Katie. I've got one between two. And
Yeah.
I'm sort of saying, doesn't matter, just use that child's account. You're still doing the same thing.
Yeah, but you do want them to be able to save in their own name as well, so it's nice to have them both on there.
Exactly.
But it's been working really well for us to have them both on there, and I'll show you as well. When we're talking a little bit more about it, I'll show you how you can switch between the accounts on their Google Drive and Google Classroom too.
Cool. Okay. And we are now joined also by Miss Pearson. So Kay is with Beresford Road Public School. And Kay, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, I'm assistant principal of class at Beresford Road Public School, but I was on class last year, and my class got EXOs and we loved them. So then the whole of the rest of the school has them. We have one device per child across the whole school at the moment. We won't be able to next year because we'll run out. We can't get any more. But they're terrific.
Cool.
And we use the EXOs. Some people are using it for Google Classroom or Google Drive. I would like everybody to learn how to do that, and we will. It's just one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm. So awesome. And could you just share how many EXOs your school has for the moment?
Around 550.
Okay, cool, not a problem. And I know, John, your school in Victoria, you guys have got quite a few as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we have. We're running a one-to-one as well. And I think our student numbers have increased, and so we were waiting on a back order for more EXOs to come through. But we run them right through the school. The teachers use them in different ways, mainly with the apps that are on it. What I want to do is connect to, I've been using Google Forms, and the programs on the web that I want to use, like Kahoots. That's a really cool one, and there's some other ones that are out there as well. So that's sort of where I'm heading with that, and so pretty keen to learn more about Google Classroom and how it runs. Was interested to hear that New South Wales have Google accounts through the department. So I wouldn't mind finding out some more about that another time. That'd be good.
Cool. So maybe we can all lobby our corresponding Department of Eds. Just open it up, man. New South Wales has done it. It's not going to hurt, I promise.
We would like to know whether there are apps that are good for older students, because we find that there's a lot of good stuff out there for K-2 or K-3, even 4, but there's not a lot of apps that are really suitable for Year 5 and 6.
For the older ones. Okay. I'm actually going to tackle that a little bit later on, because I've just been off the phone with Mitch Resnick. Mitch is one of the developers of Scratch itself, and he's actually letting us preview the Android version of Scratch in a few months' time. So that's really
cool.
Yes, which is really exciting. But now that I've let the cat out of the bag, yeah, we're beta testing for them. So there you go. Okay, so the next question I actually wanted to ask is about your EXOs. So I'll start with Miss Frew. So Katie, what impact did you see the EXOs have on the students?
So was that the benefit they have?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So we've seen lots of benefits in the classroom. We've been able to, like I said, link all of them with their Google accounts. I've been using Google Drive and Google Classroom pretty extensively, particularly in literacy time. So I'm able to assign them work in Google Classroom that they complete and submit, which really reduces our paper trail, which is always good. They do things like they can record book reviews and they take photos and share them with me through Google Drive. They've had lots more opportunities to engage with technology and build up their ICT skills. Having them in the classroom, I guess, has really broadened their use and their definition of technology as they take sort of greater control of their learning with them.
So it basically gives the students a bit of control over what they want to learn and what they can learn, isn't it?
Definitely, because it's all just there at their fingertips. So, you know,
Awesome.
they want to find something out, they can use the XO, and yeah, it's really easy for them to use as well.
Cool, cool. All right, and the next question, it's the same question for Kay. So what impact have you seen the XOs have on the students?
Yeah, I think that they have a massive impact because we have them one-to-one. Then every child has it's like they own their XO, and you know, I would think that every student would use it every day. There might be some days occasionally where if it's sports or something that they might not use it. A lot of it's through app learning and for the younger years, and the reason why the apps are good, things like Schoolbo, is because they are tailor-made for that particular child because they have to do some sort of a test to get what level that they start on. Teachers can also set work for them, but generally it's the fact that they're working at their level and they're able to do that without having to put their hand up and ask the teacher. So they can work independently and learn at their own level, and that's very valuable. And they can have the internet at their fingertips to be able to find out anything that they want to find out, instead of going to the computer room once a week to be able to do research, or to the library. They can do it at any time of the day. That's excellent.
That is pretty convenient, isn't it? Because I remember when I was in high school and still in high school, we'd actually have to book a time for us to use a PC because during that time, um, I'm sounding like I'm very old. I'm not. I'm only 38. But during my time in high school, we actually only had 100 computers, PC desktops, and there were 1,000 students at the school. So if you want to have computer FaceTime, you really have to book it, and you can only book it up to 45 minutes. You can't book it more than that. So the teacher would book the entire class, and you have that maybe once every 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's what we had before. You might get an hour a week where you're concentrating on one particular program. So they then also get better at all sorts of computer skills. It doesn't matter whether it's doing spreadsheets or a slide presentation or just a Word document. They learn all those skills about what all those buttons do a lot more when they've got access to it every day instead of once a week.
Exactly. And just that consistent use creates proficiency and confidence, isn't it?
That's right. And I think that our school probably did better in the what do they call it? Not the computer skills competition that gets put out by the University of New South Wales. I think that we're probably better. The other thing I think that even though with all the problems and things, there's a lot of troubleshooting that kids have to do, and they have to do a lot of problem solving about how do I get this to do this? How do I make my writing be big? How do I make the writing be bold? How do I insert a picture? They help each other and they experiment themselves, and I think that's a very important skills for kids to have.
I guess one benefit the students have over adults like us is that they are not afraid to fail, aren't they?
That's correct.
Excellent. Alrighty, so back to Katie. The next question we have now is, what's the biggest challenge that you've encountered using the XOs?
Well, for the first term that we had them, it was we found them very difficult to use. We hadn't been able to attend any webinars. I wasn't involved in the decision making to purchase them, so I was a little bit skeptical about them. We struggled with getting the kids connected on the internet. That was probably the biggest issue. Struggled with getting them to save things, getting onto certain apps, and the list just went on. Since we've attended the webinars, though, we've really been able to solve a lot of those problems. Often the internet is still an issue, but that's on we're at the end of the internet line, sort of in our area, so that's more of an issue with the internet than the devices themselves. Yeah, so once we've been attending the webinars, we've definitely been able to solve a lot of the problems. Another one of the big ones, which I think I mentioned before, was trying to get the device up on the screen to mirror it. And since discovering the VNC server app, John, that you taught us about, it's just been so much better to have it up on the screen to show the kids what we're doing rather than trying to get 26 kids to look at one little device as you try and model what they're meant to be doing. So that's been definitely a huge help.
Thanks. Well, Katie, to I guess to give credit where credit's due, I think I'm pretty sure it was Paul McKillicuddy from Roos Public School. He actually was the gentleman that found out about Droid VNC and the mirroring, so that was really, really good of him. But yeah, thanks for that.
Good. I'm glad he shared it.
Yeah, that's right. I'm glad to take his credit, but now I want to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, for sure.
Eleanor, if you can unmute yourself, you wrote ICAS. What about is that?
That's the computer skills test that Kay was talking about. It's called the ICAS, put out by the University of Sydney.
Oh, cool. What exactly does it do?
It's just
the maths competition.
Sorry?
They have a computer skills competition as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have maths, English, spelling, science.
I remember when I was in primary school, they were just called the universities tests, and they're put out by the universities for primary schools. And at the time it was only maths. Well, now they've got computers, maths, science, spelling, writing, English. So.
Wow.
Yeah, as Kay was talking about, what was it called? I typed up ICAS.
Ah, right. Sorry.
Digital something or other. It's not called computer skills because they want it to be able to be a tablet or a phone or something else as well.
Digital technologies.
That's
we got
right.
I only know that because we had our assembly today where they gave out our award. It was digital technologies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done. Now, that's pretty exciting because I didn't even know that type of competition existed. So there's quite a few people out there who still doubt the efficacy of technology to classrooms. And something like this will actually have it on record by a university that actually it does impact students. Believe it or not, there are still detractors out there who believe that technology actually takes away from learning. And I think those people need to get a bit of a wake-up call. But anyway, that's going beside the point. And Kay, same question. What challenges have you found about the XOs when you started?
The main issue, I think, has been, and I would think probably every school that has XOs, is internet connection. But we found that we were having all sorts of problems until we got more IP addresses, which means the name of the computer. Because we had 550 of those as well as iPads and computers in the classroom, we just couldn't have all those people being on at once, so that we've got more from the Department of Education. We applied to have more IP addresses, and that solved a lot of that problem. We still have, when you divide the line that comes into the school by 550, then it does make it a little bit slow.
Oh yeah. The best example I can have is if you've got an idea of a tap that's running and have a bucket underneath it. Internet is like that, and your internet connectivity. Every time someone plugs a device or opens a Wi-Fi signal or whatever, you poke a little hole in the bucket. And imagine 550 of those on top of the PCs, the wireless printers, the laptops, iPads, and phones connected to your internet. Well, that'll empty the bucket in no time, isn't it? So
that's correct.
Yeah, they're going to do their best to try to cope with that. Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks for that. So the next question, guys, is what activity are you really excited about? So getting on with the same order. So Katie, could you talk us through what activity you're really excited about, specifically with your Google Classrooms and connecting Google Drive to the students? So I'll give you presenter again, so you can you can show your XR.
Okay.
How do I do that? Oh, here you go. Sorry. There you go. Haha.
Now I won't be able to read off my notes though.
Dope.
All right. Yeah, I had my notes in the background, but that's okay. I can wing it. So yeah, I was really excited about using Google Classroom and Google Chrome. So like I showed you before, you can add their Google accounts to each device. In Google Classroom, which I'll go into now, I'll just go back to the start here. So when they first go in, just waiting for it to catch up. Okay, I just pressed the wrong thing. So you can add multiple classrooms to your Google Classroom, and you can also share it with other teachers as well, so you can have more than one teacher on it, which is great. I've been meaning to get in touch with our librarian and share it with her because she's right up with the technology as well.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you can have multiple classrooms, which would come much in handy for a high school as well. But obviously being primary school, I just have my own here. So I click it, goes in here. I use it mostly for literacy and reading groups. So I've assigned lots of different activities for them to do. So for example, we're doing inferring this week, so I'll have the kids watch a video and then they have to complete the attached sheet. I do have the video attached here. We had a great discussion in the last session about how you can safely share videos. There was a few good ideas there. And then, so yeah, they watch the video and then they have to complete a sheet and submit it to me. Then I can edit up, I can mark it, I should say, comment on it, and then I can give them feedback and send it back to them, and it's all done online without having to do the photocopying and the physical marking and all that kind of stuff. So it's really great that way. It's just, there we go, it's opening up there. So this is just a pretty basic one that I've done once it loads. It's coming, there it is. So yeah, pretty simple. The questions are there, they fill in the box. Once they're done, they submit it to me, and yeah, I can see who's finished it, who hasn't finished it. I can see when they finished it as well, which is really great. Now, I was talking before about having 2 accounts, and well, you can have, I guess, multiple accounts. So if you click on the little 3 lines that are up in the top left-hand corner there, mine only has 1 set up on it, which is why mine just shows up with 1. But on the kids, because they have 2, they've got another little person that shows up next to it, and they can just click that, or they can click on the arrow there, and the drop-down menu comes, and yeah, all the accounts that are linked to this device show up there. So it's really easy for them to switch between accounts. Sometimes they do forget, but mostly they remember to switch there, and you can add another account there as well. I've also gotten them to share all of their work on Google Drive, so I'm just going to go back into Google Drive now. So this one I did have to do a pretty explicit lesson with them using VNC to have it mirrored on the board so that they could actually share their folders. So I'll just go back to my drive here. So to share a folder, they created a folder in their Google Drive, and you click the little I for information button there. And then you can see when it comes up, you can add people. So what I got them to do is I got them all to add in my Google address, and now all of their folders are shared with me, so I can see all the work that they do, and they know that everything they do they have to share there. So we've created videos that they've shared there, and then I've created QR codes for them. We've got those sort of hanging up around the classroom. They've made done photos and different work that they've saved there as well. So that's pretty cool. And then as you can see, if I just go back over to the side here and shared with me, you can see there's all my kids' folders. So that's pretty cool.
Katie, just sorry to interrupt, but you said you had QR codes. How did you get a hold of them?
Oh, I didn't do it through the XO. So when they shared the video for me, I opened up my Google Drive on my computer, and then in Google Drive, you can make the link shareable. So instead of having anyone view it, you can have it only the people with the link viewed it. So it was still very safe. No one could see their videos. And I went to a QR creator, and I just put in the link, and yeah, created the QR codes and printed them off.
Oh, cool. Because there was a question by, I think it was Bronwyn from, Ring Rose, I think it was, and she was asking if we actually have QR creators for the XO. Just so everybody knows, QR codes, they need a specific type of camera, and our camera on the XO unfortunately isn't that good. It's designed for long distance. Well, it's designed so you can actually Skype at really, really low resolutions for low bandwidth. So providing, say for example, if you're in Uruguay and you'd like to Skype someone, it's not going to be too much strain on the internet. So that's why it's like a not so good a camera. So
No, so and that's why, like I said, they shared it with me, and it was really great for open day because the parents came in and they obviously all have smartphones, so they just whipped them out, scanned the QR code, and could see the book reviews there, which was really cool.
perfect, perfect, awesome. You
Yeah.
got you got to
The
share
other
that.
thing I don't think I got a chance to talk about before was we've also been doing lots of blogging using the XOs. So across year
Yes.
two, we have collaborative blogs that we've all made, and the kids love going on and sharing their learning and commenting on each other's posts and all that kind of thing as well. So we do that through BlogEd, through the department portal, but yeah, all in the XOs.
Okay, hang on a sec. Cool. Alrighty. And for Miss Pearson, just the same question as well. Okay, so what activity are you really excited about with the exos that you're doing at the moment? Oops.
Well, I'm very excited about Google Docs and being able to share and collaborate as well. But our younger students, probably the one that they like the best is Schoolbo, which is an app, Schoolbo Aussie, I think, that is on all of their
Exos?
things. It's very good for kindergarten, year 1, year 2, even older grades like it too, because they do a little test in it, which is a game. They create their own avatar, then it is set tasks specifically for them at their level of ability. That means that every student gets to succeed, no matter how smart or not so smart that they are. They can compete at their own level, and I think that makes it very valuable, and they can do it independently without the teacher helping them.
I actually just did
And we have a look at
no, sorry, go ahead.
the Schoolbo, the Ziggy Shake or whatever it was, and that was pretty cool.
Cool, the Zippy Shake. Yeah, yeah. Just on that, I remember reading a paper on zone of proximal development. I can't remember it's Vygotsky or something like that. So I think that's what Schoolbo is trying to achieve by
That's correct.
by ranking, isn't it? And then it'll give the student a bit more confidence, and it'll teach the student at their pace, but at the same time helps them absorb more. Look, I'm just a student teacher at the moment. I'm not a full-fledged teacher just yet.
Yeah, at the stretch zone. Yeah.
Cool. Good to know that the theory actually exists, you know. Cool.
And they get to, I mean, they have virtual prizes and things. They get to be a superhero, which they get very excited about. They win medals. They find it very motivating. They can also play it at home on an iPad or a phone or something else.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so now we've basically talked about what you guys are excited about and what and what you guys are currently doing. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to open the floor to questions from the audience. So folks, if you've got any questions on how to or any specific thing you'd like to ask the presenters, please feel free, even if it is I guess a customer service type of thing, or even if it's some sort of technical thing, I'll be able to help you out as best I could for that. So guys, feel free to unmute yourself and you can have a chat with us. Hello, Laura Jane, by the way. Hello, Laura Jane.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So,
Hi, Laura Jane. It's Eleanor.
Oh, hi, Ellie.
it's not like you guys, see enough of each other at school,
No,
Yeah.
she's at the other end of the school.
Fair enough, fair enough. All right, so any questions for the presenters, guys, about maybe how to connect Google accounts or anything like that? Hang on, Mr. Casanova, go ahead. You've muted yourself, mate.
That sounds like my dad.
Sorry, John.
I just that's all fine. I just had a query about, I guess we're stuck with Google Classroom in wanting to make sure that I guess it's digital safety and the kids are secure, and I need to convince my school that all that's organised and set out. I'm just wondering how, I think it was Katie, how you went through that process and about seeking permission from the parents.
Well, we didn't seek permission from the parents because it's all done through their department Google accounts that they have. Are you in New South Wales?
No, Victoria. Yep.
This year New South Wales actually allowed us to all have Google accounts that are linked to our department email accounts as well, so it's all sort of above the board through them, so we kind of didn't really need to do much at all than just log in and get started. So unfortunately, yeah, you're in a bit of a different situation than we are.
Yeah, that's fine. Would that,
Sorry.
that's all right. Maybe my question relates to the blogging that you've done as well. Is that a similar sort of thing where you needed to set up permissions and educate the parents as to why you were doing it and what benefits and that sort of thing?
No, again, it's all done through our portal. We have, I'll just show you up. My board's still up there, isn't it?
Yes,
we have something
presenter.
called BlogEd, and so that's just for you can change the permissions that it gives. So when I set it up, I create it as only having permission for the kids at our school and only the classes that we add to it. So it's not something public that everyone can view. And so because it's not publicly available on the web, we didn't need to worry about permissions or anything. The parents have seen it because they come in for open day and they got to have a look at it and all that. So this is kind of what it's like.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you would have something similar as well.
Yeah, we have our own, I think it's Global too, which is something similar. I think it uses WordPress. So that's something we can look at as well. But I think when I've done it, we wanted to make it public and share it with others. So, yeah, I guess that's something I'll still need to work through.
Yeah, because like I said, because ours, luckily, you can have it so that it's only for, you know, the kids at your school and the kids that you allow to view it. We don't have too many issues with it, which is good.
Yep, sure. No, that's cool. Thank you.
No worries. Sorry, I couldn't help more.
No, that's fine.
So, John, just on that, the question you're basically asking is how do we then ask permission from the parents or allow the parents to get the students to use their Google account? Is that right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So we have a basic set of permissions we ask for the parents for a start, and it talks about, you know, our school website and, you know, being able to use the internet and that sort of thing. But that's a document that we've had for some time, and looking at what we want to do in the future or what I'd like to do, I need to broaden that out a bit, and that would involve having the kids have their own emails, and I want to set up blogs and that sort of thing. So I guess as everything develops, then the permissions need to develop as well. And I was thinking about our blog, and it's, you know, we need permission to put up work. We need to think about photos and how we do that sort of stuff, but even things like our voice recordings and that sort of thing. So I think it's just about informing the parents, making sure they know what the benefits are, and then getting permission before we do anything. So it's just a topic to tackle.
Fair enough. I didn't even actually think about it on that level. That's a lot of work.
It is.
Only for the initial policy.
Sorry?
Only for the initial policy. Once you've got the policy in place and it's working, it sort of runs itself in a way. You send it out to the parents, they read it, they send it back. But that initial setup would be absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, I think so. When I've looked at the Vic department and I've spoken with them, they have permissions for specific sites. And I think given how things travel, we probably need to be a little bit more open about that and maybe look at permissions for being able to display work as opposed to display work on a particular site. One thing I found was with our forms, the parents will read it. They don't necessarily understand why we want something or how that applies, and they'll just make an uninformed decision. So for me, I think just say in the 5-6 area, having them come in for an open night and talk about the issues and what we want to do and having them understand before we ask for their permission is probably a good idea.
I think as well, because this is something that vexes me to a certain degree, because we've got Mick George from Queensland. I don't know if you can hear us, Mick. I think he's muted himself. But I had a privilege of visiting one of the Queensland schools a couple of days ago, and they've got the same issue. They want to get onto Google Classrooms. They want to get that collaborative work, but they're not actually allowed to do so. And I am so sure that they need to open it up very soon. So, Mick,
Yep.
have you heard of any progress about or anything about opening up the cloud or getting Google accounts or anything like that? Um, Maybe Mick doesn't have. Unfortunately, not yet. So, that's gonna be a bother. So at the moment, I have heard of a WA school, and this is in WA. Bless you. And what they've done is they've actually created a Gmail account for the class, and they actually email to that Gmail account. And I'm not sure that they're actually connected to Google Classrooms, but at least it's a start for them to have an access to some sort of drive as a corporate body. So, but
Yep.
again, each to their own. Regarding the policies and everything, I think Kay, would you have any comments or any suggestions for developing a robust ICT policy specifically with EXOs and that?
I don't think that you need one, certainly. We have just a general thing when new students enroll, they have to fill out a thing saying that they give permission for their child to use the internet and have their photos published. I mean, that's a separate tick on the box. I think everybody in New South Wales had to send home something saying that this might mean that your photo is going to be on there for the next 25 years or something like that. We explained to parents who were a bit worried about that really what it was, then nobody's complained. The only issues you have are with parents where, you know, they're in a bad relationship with someone else and don't want the other partner to know where they are.
So going back to, but I guess that's I'm hoping that's few and far between, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not many people, but some people do have a reason why they don't want their photos on there. But I really can't see a problem with student work being on the internet, really.
So it's all about getting that initial setup, as Eleanor was saying as well in the start off. So, but John, as you can see, we've got a wealth of knowledge and experience here for a bit of assistance and guidance in terms of getting that organized. So this is what I love about the One Education community. It's not just myself. It's not just you or one school. It's a community of over 3,000 teachers. So yeah, please feel free to add in or collaborate. And if you've got any advice for any of us, just all of you teachers, please feel free to collaborate via the forums or on the webinars. And while I've got everyone on the ball, my question is for term 4. I actually want to hit as many, no, sorry, let me change the wording. I'd like to impact as many teachers as possible. I don't want to hit teachers, I want to impact teachers. There's a distinct difference in intent and grammar. And I want to know what's the best time for me to actually conduct these webinars. So if you guys are kind enough to kind of
I think
email that to me.
3:30 is probably better than 4 o'clock because we'll have to wait around until 4 o'clock before they can do it. And I think people would rather do it.
I would agree with that.
Pia, what do you reckon?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you, mate.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's just that the computer logged me out. I had to log all back in, etc. Yeah, I think 3:30 would be better, and I was thinking of offering it, to more teachers.
Because
so I'd go through our deputy. Yeah, he'll help me out. Yeah.
Mick, thanks so much. So 3:30 seems to be a good one. John, I know Victoria has different schedules. How's 3:30 sound for you guys?
Well, 3:30 sounds pretty good. Yeah, we can make that. I had an appointment tonight, so 5:30 worked really well for me. But 3:30 should be okay.
Awesome. So,
John, I just wanted to check.
Yes, sir.
Sorry?
Go ahead, sir.
I was just wanted to check. This is mainly for the Android, like EXO's using Android too, isn't it?
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes, that's
Hey?
right.
Yep. Okay. So at the moment we're still using Sugar, most of us.
Uh-huh.
I started to have a look at Android, but we didn't really swing across yet.
Mhm.
And I think we had an internet connection that
Issue.
we needed to have a look at how we were going to do that.
Mm,
But it's still interesting from the side that I can pick up from here as well. So
cool.
just sort of
There's
wanted to mention that.
so much more opportunity with the Android than there is with Sugar,
Is that, yeah?
particularly with producing work. There's so much more that you can do. The
Yep.
WPS that on the screen, the big W that you can see,
Yep.
the word processing is really just like Word, and the spreadsheet program is just like Excel, and so they can do things that you would be normally able to do. The one that was on Sugar really was fairly ordinary.
Yep. Cool. Can I ask, I've sort of grabbed the mic at the moment, can I just ask
Go ahead.
about the apps that are available in Sugar? They're not all available in Android, are they? So things like, is it Speech or Speak?
Um, it-
No, but there's other things that would replace it.
mm,
Okay, cool.
that's
So that
actually
might be
been
something we need to have a look at.
That's actually been quite popular. Like I said, I visited Queensland a couple of days ago, and their main concern is that all of the stuff that they've trained quite long hours for, and both yourself and Cake and Vouch for this, Sugar took 15 hours or something silly like that to get trained up for. All of them is going to, not all of the apps will be replaced, but what I'll do is I'll make a list of all of the apps that we think can match the Sugar apps,
Oh, that'd
and
be cool.
majority of them are already preloaded, and it's all about just identifying which one is similar to which. So hopefully when that's out, please watch out for the internet forums, and I'll put it on the support website as well, so you guys can have a look at that.
Beautiful. That'd be great, John.
Cool.
Yeah,
John,
just quickly, John.
oh sure, go ahead, ma'am.
I was just going to say, going back to the question of time for these webinars, also if you're able to do this 5:30 webinar that little bit later, like go back to the 6 o'clock or
Okay.
whatnot, which then allows, I have 3 ravenous children, who we normally eat dinner at 5:30, and it's an absolute nightmare to try and get them fed by 5 o'clock and get them quiet.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you. I'll get that organized. So, because also next term I'm organizing it just to be once a fortnight. That way it's not a burden on a lot of the teachers. And also I wanted to make sure that I get to have a bit of a week off as well, because my wife is complaining that I'm never home. And I go, "Well, at least I know I'm home twice in my lifetime because we've got 2 kids." Never mind. Putting that aside. So, John, sounds like it's time for me to have a bit of a visit in Victoria and help you guys out in getting onto Android. I'll email you separately about that.
Yep. Sure. That'd be good.
So I will just get that organized. So, teachers, that's basically it. And this was my parting question for last webinar. And I'll start, of course, with our gorgeous presenters. And I've met you both. Yes, you two are very gorgeous. Is it possible for us to have a paperless classroom, and how feasible is it? So again, with the order, let's go with Miss Fru from Flinders. What do you think? Is it possible for us to have a paperless classroom?
I don't think it's feasible to have a completely paperless classroom, particularly in primary schools, because they do still need to learn those skills, that handwriting. I've noticed just recently we've had some training on in OT, and the pencil grip issue is just becoming even bigger. I think it's definitely possible to eliminate the worksheets that we hand out and the mass photocopying that we do, and rather have, so they have their workbooks and they have a device, and that way we don't have to continuously sort of create worksheets that we then photocopy and give out and cut down 1,000 trees that way. But yeah, I don't think it would be completely paperless. You still need your books for sure.
Cool, cool. And Kay, so Miss Pearson from
Yeah, I
Bracefield
would
Road?
say it's definitely possible, but I don't know whether it's really what we want. I think you do want to be able to reduce it. It does reduce a lot of photocopying. They just don't need to do as much as what you had before. You don't have nearly so much waste. But I think that they still have to have the skills of doing things on paper as well. So I wouldn't be saying let's go with paperless classrooms totally at this stage, but you can go a lot closer to that.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So, and I'm gonna now open that question to the rest of the panel, to the rest of the audience as well. So, what do you guys reckon? Paperless classrooms, is it feasible? Eleanor, do you reckon that's feasible?
Honestly, no. I have a few children in my class who need that OT side of things, but I've also got a couple of kids that have not so much issues, but have concerns with tracking. They're able to do it on the computer because it's there, it's right in front of them, but looking up at the board, looking down at a book, looking at one side of the room, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think being able to copy from the book not only helps them with their handwriting, but it also helps with the visual perception skills as well, which is then what they need to take outside to do the sports.
True, true. John, same question. Is it feasible for us to have a paperless classroom?
Yeah, I don't think so, but I think we can reduce it. So I agree. So in primary, we're still looking at those hand skills, and I think that we still need that. But I do think that I agree with the photocopying and the paper, and I think that if we can put more online for them to be able to find and not lose, and I think that would be better. We could certainly reduce it a lot more than we have.
And again, that's going to come back down to the again, what they're talking about, the carbon footprint. That's going to reduce it quite significantly, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I'm just thinking it'd be interesting to do a study on what the potential would be and what dollar savings there would be that you could then plow back into your technology. I think that would be an interesting waste management issue.
Well, sorry, I have to get into politics here. If you're like Mr. Abbott, no, global warming isn't real. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
I was purely pragmatically looking at the dollars of buying paper in and then trying to get rid of it again. But
yep,
maybe.
exactly. So, Laura Jane, could you comment on that? Not on Mr. Abbott, sorry, that was my faux pas, but feasibility of paperless classrooms.
Yeah, I agree that we can't, replace the writing and the fine motor skills. But I actually went to a course last term, Google Apps in Education at Sydney University, and it was interesting. The presenter, just before she left the classroom, did an entire year with a Year 3-4 class where they used the computers. And she said, out of everything that she did, she said the important thing is that we embrace the technology, but we don't replace the fundamentals. So she used a lot of Google Classroom, and but she used it as a stimulus. So yeah, doing blogs and uploading videos and etc. But it never replaced the hands-on activities. She's one example she had was they were doing a particular artist, and they did all the research on the artist. I'm sure it was Picasso, and then at the end of the final project, they had used the technology for that, but then the final project was a hands-on approach. So yeah. So that was it was quite a good course to go to, but she did, express the concern that we have to embrace the technology rather than just replacing our important fundamental skills. And I have kindergarten this year, and from last year to this year, you notice that, like it was stated earlier, that the pencil grip is a big issue. But even just fine motor skills in general, and the muscles in their hands, it's important that they do still have those hands-on experiences.
Nice.
So
one comment. Like in the comments here. Oh, go ahead, Eleanor. Sorry.
Sorry. One comic that I read on one of the Facebook things, that news feed that keeps coming up. One of the comments was, a child may never learn to write, or in the 24th century or something, the child may not know how to write, but damn, they're fast with a swipe. A finger swiping, and it was just, it really brought home to me, yeah, they all know how to swipe side to side, but write their name, not so much.
Yeah, well, especially, it's funny saying that, especially this year, you know, when I took my kids to the computer room, you know, they're all touching the screen to swipe the screen, and I had to teach them that, you know, that little tool on the
You've got to
side.
use that now.
So.
Oh boy. Oh, boy. Mick, I don't know if you can speak with us, mate, but I just wanted to ask for your idea. Oh, hang on. Here he goes. He's got the essay. And I'm just going to read it out if you guys can't see the question. It goes, I use the least amount of photocopying in the school due to the XOs, but we still use our exercise books. I teach year 6 and don't believe that we need worksheets printed if the same worksheet can be displayed on the interactive whiteboard. Very good point. Students can still use their books or whiteboards to answer questions. We also have PDF lessons from eQueensland, and we do that on our XOs where the kids type in the answers. So you actually have PDFs that have forms, or not forms, but fillable, like blank spaces that you can fill in, and they save it as their own. Is that right? Because that'll be really, really handy. So, cool. And apparently it's saved in GNOME. So cool. Thanks for that, Mick. And Pia, again, same question. So what do you reckon? Is it feasible for us to have paperless classrooms?
I don't think in primary school I'm agreeing with most of your other teachers, or all of your other teachers actually, and I think, well, they've actually proven that the eyes of when eyes are developing in children, it does affect their vision, and it's not very healthy for them. They do need to move their eyes around and to have be able to look at, you know, be able to refer to things, and I actually think personally that children through the physical activity also, and that includes fine motor, also help to stimulate different parts of their brain and help to connect and organize information in their brain that way as well. I don't think that if we go completely
paperless,
it's digital, that it would be good for the children's development. They're still developing. Maybe high school is different, I think, but definitely, primary school children, they need the activity, the physical activity, that fine motor and gross motor.
Awesome. Well, I didn't actually consider that, the physiological effects of having just a digital screen in front of the child. So thank you so much. That's really, really good insight. So, folks, the reason I'm actually getting everyone's opinion on this is because this is what we're heading. We're heading towards an era of everything being digital. And I'd like for us to be well aware that is going to happen. But what's going to happen to the children down the line? So anyway, John, you wanted to say something in addition?
Yeah, I sort of wasn't sure, so I thought I'd click the hand and see. I think that shifting focal length is something that optometrists have talked about as far as the screens. So the kids that spend hours on their iPads and iPods and looking at one fixed focal length, they're concerned that has an issue. The other thing I wanted to mention was we're talking about getting the kids to do the learning as well and the hands-on stuff, and it just reminded me about Eric Scheniger. He wrote a book called Digital Leadership. He's an American guy. And so for anybody who's interested in, I guess, promoting digital stuff and looking at leading digital work within their tools, his book and his work, so finding his blog, is a really handy one. So he's a pretty clever guy. One of the things he talks about is pedagogy before technology, that the car is the pedagogy, but the technology is the accelerator, I think is one of his terms. So I think there's stuff there if people are interested.
What was his name again?
Yeah, I was about to
Eric
ask.
Scheniger. Yeah.
Eric.
So if you look Scheniger, if you look up digital leadership,
Okay.
it's a bit
That's
of a ball
easier to spell.
Sorry. Oh, look, I'd have to find it. It looks. I think it's SHENINGER.
I found it. I'm gonna post it on the. I'm gonna post it to everyone. So, folks,
Thanks.
it is on chat in a second. Give me a second. Here we go. There you go. Oops, that's just to one person. Entire audience.
Cool. That was to me.
There it is. Here's a TEDx talk as well. By the way, folks, if you ever have a chance, have a watch in some of the TEDx stuff for education. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
Yes.
Cool. All right, folks, that's about all the time we have for at the moment. Hang on. We've just got another comment here. So Mick just wanted to add paper free, not yet, but there needs to be a definite decrease in photocopying. Once you're in upper primary, gluing paper onto a blank page of book seems overkill. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, I just have to comment this. My daughter is in year 1, and her teacher just went, "Oh, clip shapes out of a magazine," and I'm like, "Miss, my household does not." There is no magazine in my house. There is no newspaper in my house. You know, so it's just getting to that age where, okay, well, that's something that, yeah. Anyway, it's just funny.
Oh, John,
Yes,
just
ma'am.
quickly on that.
Go ahead, Eleanor.
On that, I went to do an activity with the kids in school, and I went out and bought a whole heap of the old magazines, you know, the New Idea, the Women's Day, the Women's Weekly. I went out to buy them, to bring them into the school to have there. And there was not one of them that didn't have bikini models, lingerie, or alcohol or other inappropriate stuff for the school. How did we used to cut out magazines at school and not have all of this? Where's all the nice stuff gone?
Get better homes and gardens.
Yeah, but have you seen the price of it?
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes, if you have a
ridiculous.
nice news agency, they might give you the ones that they're putting in the recycling. If you ask them really nicely, you just have to make sure you go through the piles and take the porn magazines out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Anyway, sorry, just had to do that.
That's it. And on that bombshell, good night. I just have to do that. Have a good night,
Thanks,
everyone.
John.
It's been fantastic. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to put this on YouTube as soon as we can. Right. Thanks.
Okay,
John.
thank you, John.
Good night.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Night.
Thank you, presenters. Thank you, Katie. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're
Bye.
welcome.